was a very, very important writer. So he was a man of ideas, not an inventor. I guess you could say he's an inventor. He invented new ideas. And his ideas spread, going back to Gutenberg, as a result of printing press. So, John Locke was a British writer. Okay, right there, in England. And why is he important? Because he wrote about political ideas. He was a writer of the period that we just talked about. He was a writer of the period known as the Enlightenment. So, writer of the Enlightenment, wrote about political ideas with some things about society also. So, when he was writing, he's writing about the government that existed in that area of the world, which we pointed out before, Western Europe. And at the time that he was writing, he was looking at the way governments were organized, and he saw two things. He saw that in that area, most of the governments were absolute monarchies. And these absolute monarchs believed in an idea known as divine right. So John Locke disagreed with these ideas. Especially divine right. Divine right means the kings believed that they were chosen by God. They got their power to rule from God. And therefore the people better obey the king, because if they disobey the king, they're disobeying God. So, John Locke looked at this, thought about it. During the period of the Enlightenment, it was all about using your mind, reasoning things, looking at things, reasoning things out. So John Locke wrote about political ideas. John Locke rejected divine right and believed in an idea known as popular sovereignty. Popular sovereignty means the government, whatever government it is, gets its power from the people. So he rejects divine right, and he says governments get their power from the people. Whatever power government has, it gets from the people. So John Locke believed that people are born with natural rights. And it's the main job of government to protect the natural rights. An absolute monarch believed people have whatever rights the king or the queen gives them. John Locke is saying, no, you don't give me any rights. I'm born with rights. And it's your job to protect my rights. So, power coming from the people. People are born with natural rights. And if the government, whose job it is to protect the rights of the people, doesn't protect the rights of the people, if this doesn't happen, according to John Locke, the people what's that in?
They get a new
Yeah.
They get a new government. They overthrow.
So Locke believed that the people have the right to change the government if the government doesn't do what it's supposed to do, or if it goes beyond. Since the people create the government and the people give the government certain powers, if the government goes too far beyond that, then the government has abused, and therefore it can be changed. So we'll go back to Gutenberg. When these ideas were put in a book and people read it, people who lived in an absolute monarchy were saying, "Ooh, that's interesting." So we tie in Gutenberg with Locke. His ideas spread. People all over the world read them. Locke was British. The American Revolution, Declaration of Independence, written by Thomas Jefferson. Who did he quote? The ideas of the French Revolution. The ideas of privilege were opposed by the writers of the Enlightenment. So people in France were affected by the ideas of Locke and the other writers of the Enlightenment. And all of Latin America. People in Latin America, Bolivar led revolutions in Latin America, affected by the ideas of men such as Locke, and then you have the others, Rousseau, Montesquieu, and Voltaire. So important people. Gutenberg, incredibly important with his invention, the explosion of information, and John Locke, his political ideas would justify changes in America and all over Europe.